Hello, Rhonda here with a Pilates mat workout for cyclists. It's important for cyclists to focus on strengthening their back and hip stability. The following mat exercises will not only focus on core and upper body stability, but will also build and strengthen your glutes and quads and give your hamstrings and hip flexors an extra stretch. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and warm up the spine and make our way into a quadruped position, all fours. We're going to align wrists with elbow and shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, coming into a cat-cow flow. Take an inhale, exhale to flex the spine into cat, and then inhale into extension cat. Exhale to cat, drawing the navel in, and then inhaling the crown of the head and tailbone reaching in opposite directions. One last round here. Let's bring the spine back to neutral. Now moving in an easy rotation, we're going to place our right hand at the base of our skull, open up that elbow, and then draw it towards the opposite forearm. Inhale to open, exhale, elbow comes towards the forearm. Two more. Let's go ahead and place that right hand back to its place on the mat. The left fingertips go at the base of the skull. We inhale to open. Exhale, that left elbow goes towards that right forearm. Inhale to open. Exhale, elbow comes towards the forearm. Last two. Let's go ahead and place that left hand back onto the floor. Now coming into sternum drops or a scapular retraction. So we're just going to squeeze our shoulder blades together and then lift. Keeping that spine neutral, warming up that upper back. Last three. It's a very small movement. Let's go ahead and bring that spine back to neutral. Now moving into spinal balance. You're going to reach the right arm forward and the left leg back, keeping the hips square. Inhale, exhale, and switch. Left arm reaches forward, right leg reaches back, keeping the hips nice and even, and switch. Right arm reaches, left leg reaches back, and switch. We're going to stretch one more on each side. Right arm, left leg, and left arm, right leg. All right, let's go ahead and stretch out the spine by shifting the hips toward the heels in an extended child's pose. Take a few breaths here, getting lengthened through that spine. See if you can get your hips all the way down towards your heels. And then go ahead and come on up. Let's make our way onto our backs. All right, let's go ahead and place our feet about hip bone distance apart on the mat. We're going to roll on down. Walk your feet in a little bit, palms facing down, coming into an articulating bridge. Inhale, exhale, tilt your pelvis towards you, lift your glutes to your lower spine, mid-spine, upper spine, big sip of air at the top, and then exhale, drop the sternum down first, upper spine, mid-spine, lower spine, tailbone lands last. Let's do this 3 more times. Inhale, exhale, tilt and lift, holding at the top, and then exhale, slowly lower. Last two, inhale, tilt, and lift. This is your articulating bridge. The next time we're going to come into a bridge, we're going to hold it at the top. While keeping those hips even, we're going to come into bridge marching, lifting one foot and then the other. landing the foot softly onto the mat each time. One more on each side. And then let's slowly lower the spine on down. Let's come into a hamstring stretch. We're going to reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Let's rotate through that ankle in one direction and then the other. Hold on to that leg fully. Draw the knee towards the nose towards the knee. If it feels okay for your spine, stretch the left leg long. Take a couple of breaths here. And release that right foot back down onto the mat. Stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling. Rotate through that ankle in one direction and then the other. It's good to mobilize that ankle because sometimes we put our feet in those bike clips. And then we're going to draw the knee towards the nose towards the knee. Stretch the right leg long. Take a couple of breaths here. And then go ahead and place that left foot back onto the mat. We're going to come back into a bridge. So let's come into one bridge here. Lift those hips up, moving into a one-legged bridge. You can either keep your leg in tabletop position or stretch your leg up long up towards the ceiling. You're going to lift and lower. This strengthens the hamstrings and the glutes. Last 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring that right foot to meet the left foot onto the floor, hip bone distance apart. Now stretch the left leg long, or you can keep it in tabletop position, you choose, and lift and lower those hips while trying to keep them level the whole time. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and bring that left foot to meet the right foot on the floor, and then roll your spine on down. All right, let's go ahead and stretch both legs long, preparing for the roll up. You'll be feeling a nice stretch at the hamstrings and the backs of the legs, the calves, and working those core muscles. Inhale, the arms overhead. Exhale, nod the chin towards the chest. Lift the shoulders off the mat. Reach those fingertips towards your toes. Stretch. Rebuild the spine. Relax the shoulders, tuck and roll on down. Once the head lands, take another big breath of air. Exhale, lift the head, shoulders off. Nod the chin towards the chest. Fingertips reach towards the toes, stretch, rebuild the spine, tuck and roll. Let's do this 3 more times. Last 2. All right, let's go ahead and roll up one more time to seated. And now we're going to come into single straight leg stretch. Roll back down onto your back. Let's go ahead and reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. The left leg reaches towards the opposite side of the room. Lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Pulse one leg in and then the other. Use those upper abs to help you keep your shoulders up off the mat. And you're stretching the backs of the legs, the calves, the hamstrings. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead and bring the legs in tabletop position. Hands behind the head, elbows wide, moving into crisscross. Inhale, exhale, opposite armpit heads towards the opposite knee, and then rotate and twist. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, let's go ahead and do a little release work. Rock the knees from side to side to release that lower back. And let's go ahead and make our way into a seated position. So a lot of times when we're on our bikes, we're in that forward flex position. So we're going to stretch out the sides of the body. We're going to come into spine stretch side. So go ahead and place your hands right beside you. You're going to take your right arm out to the side. Inhale, exhale, flex up and over. Inhale, back to center. The left arm comes up and over. As you're stretching the arm up and over, you're trying to keep that same hip down. Let's go ahead and stretch one more on each side. Nice. And now moving into spine twists. Let's go ahead and zip up those legs, reset the spine nice and tall. Bring our fingertips right by our shoulders. Take an inhale, exhale, 2 little pulses over to one side, and then twist, twist over to the other side. It's as if a string is pulling you up from the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Inhale, center, exhale, 2 little pulses. One more in each direction. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and make our way into side lying position. All right, in our side lying position, we're gonna flex both knees, heels aligned with the glutes, coming into clams. The heels stay connected. You're just opening and closing at the knees, strengthening your abductor muscles as well as lubricating that hip joint. You want a little bit more of a challenge, then you can float both feet off the mat. We're going to do about 15 here. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now let's go ahead and stretch both legs long. Float the top leg, flex the foot, bring it forward, and then sweep it back. You're trying to keep the hips stacked, the shoulders stacked. The whole leg stays parallel to the ground, as well as the foot. You're strengthening and stretching the leg, as well as working on the glutes, strengthening the keep the upper body stable as you're moving the leg. Last 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and come up and over to the other side. Starting off with our clams, lining with our heels with our glutes, opening and closing at the knee. Again, floating the feet off the mat. For that extra added challenge, keeping the heels together. 5 more. All right, let's go ahead and stretch both legs long. Hover that top leg, moving into leg kicks. Flexing the foot, sweeping it forward, and then sweeping it back. As we're moving the leg, we're trying to keep the upper body still. Stretching that leg long. Last 4. Nice. All right, let's go ahead and make our way onto our knees. We're going to do a hip flexor stretch first. So feel free to double or triple up the mat. If you need a little extra cushioning for your knees, step the left foot forward, opening up through that right hip flexor. Place your hands on your left thigh and just slowly shift your weight forward. And then go ahead and bring it back. Now stepping that right foot forward, stretching out that left hip flexor, that left quad. Those muscles tend to be especially tight after a long bike ride. Couple more breaths here. All right, now moving into thigh stretch. Strengthening the quads. We're going to come back into that kneeling position. You're kneeling about hip bone distance apart. Bring your arms parallel to the ground. Shoulders are relaxed. Take an inhale. Exhale. Shift your weight back. You're trying to keep that long line from your knees to your hip to your shoulder. Engage the core and then come back forward. Again, inhale. Exhale. And then shift your weight back, keeping that nice long line. And then bring it back forward. 3 more times. Last 2. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Strengthening those quads, those glutes. Keeping that core engaged. The last 1. Pause. And bring it back forward. All right, let's go ahead and make our way onto our stomachs. So as we're prone, we still want to keep those abs and glutes engaged. We're going to bring our palms facing down onto the floor, forearms anchored, coming into baby swan. We're going to inhale to lift and then exhale to slowly lower. Working those upper back muscles, starting off with a light extension here. And then if it feels okay for your spine and you want to come into that deeper swan, you're going to slide your hands closer towards your shoulders. And then you're going to inhale to lift into that full swan. And then exhale to lower. Two more. All right, let's go ahead and come into a quad stretch here. So bring your legs in closer together. You're gonna flex at the knee and grab onto the outside of that right ankle. You're trying to get that heel towards your glute. Open, keep it nice and open through the shoulders. Take About 3 breaths here. And then release. On to the other side. Grabbing onto the top of the foot near the ankle. Now the left heel comes towards the left glute, opening up through that left shoulder. Couple more breaths. And then release. All right. We're going to bring our arms down by our side, and then we're going to come into an extension as we lift our arms and our feet off the mat, and then lower. Inhale to lift, keeping that head in line with the neck and the upper back. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, and then exhale to lower. 2 more times. Strengthening those glutes. All right. Now go ahead and stretch both arms forward, coming into swimming. You're going to lift the right arm and the left leg, and then the left arm and the right leg. Alternating, opposite arm and leg. You can stay slow-mo, or you can pick up the pace for that extra added challenge. Float your arms and your legs off the mat. And swim for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and do a little release work here. Hands come by the shoulders, shift the hips back into child's pose to stretch out the back. Now coming into an exercise called leg pull. You're going to come into a high plank position, wrist in line with elbow, in line with shoulder. You're going to lift one foot up and then the other, keeping that perfect plank position. As you reach the foot back, that opposite foot, that grounded foot, is coming into slight dorsiflexion. 2 little pulses on one side and then the other. Strengthening the core, the glutes, and getting mobility in through that ankle. 1 more on each side. Go ahead and take a little break. I'm going to do push-ups on my knees, but feel free to come into your push-ups in that high plank. Let's go ahead and do about 10. Nice job.